right, we got a new project starting today. Actually threw in that one as a freebie. They had some trees fall over and we're crossing over here, so we went all the way over here, so cut that up and threw it on the other side of the bank over there so that it wasn't in the creek any longer. But this is what we've got going, and I'll try to do this justice. Number one, this is the downhill side of this culvert pipe. They put the bell facing downhill, so culvert pipe's in backwards, for starters. Then they didn't compact it when they installed it, so that was another issue that we determined. So we've got to dig these out, flip them around. On this one, they didn't even line this one up on this side. You can see the culvert pipe lines up right there instead of with the creek right there. So we've got to shift this over some so that it's lined up here and then goes into the creek over here. And then this one over here, it was actually lined up, but it's in backwards, and not a lot of material on top of it. You got maybe a foot of material. So first big rain, they get a lot of water that comes from the entire neighborhood that comes down here. And they had a small culvert pipe in before, and it would just come over the top of the top there. But one of the issues is it's getting washed out too, because they didn't put any riprap around it to protect the bank. So we're going to add riprap in and take care of that. But then they tailgated this driveway. They didn't compact it one bit. I mean, you can tell there was zero compaction on it, because look here where it sunk in. I'll see if you can see that. But there's a huge hump in the center. It caved in here where it was never compacted, and right there on this side of it where it was never compacted. You got this huge hump in the center, and literally when I take my truck on it, it's like going on a four-wheel drive, like you're going off-road, and this is their driveway. And you know, if my truck's having issues bouncing around, well, guess what, the homeowner's car is really not going to like it. So we have to grade all this out after we put it in correctly, compact everything like it's supposed to be, and go that route. Then we've got to compact everything down and then grade out the entire driveway, because it's humps and bumps and unevenness, and then after we grade the driveway and put a crown on it so the water runs off to either side, then we'll come back in and afterward and compact everything down. So that's what we got going today. I'm gonna get some video of it, and but the homeowners called the people who did the work, and guys said there's nothing wrong with it. And you know, I'm just pointing out several things that are wrong with it right off the bat. And this is why it pays to hire somebody who knows what they're doing, you know, because you'll end up with junk like this. So we're going to add more material over the top of it, because that one down there in particular, I mean, it's less than a foot of material over the pipe. And 12 inches is the minimum that you want over a pipe this size. That's like the minimum. If you don't want it to float away, then you're looking at, you need at least 25 inches of material over the top of it, according to the charts for the installation and everything. And so, you know, it helps installing it in the right direction. So you got the big end taking on the water, and the smaller end, you know, is not. And then they didn't bury it deep enough either. So, you know, with the larger pipes, you want a little bit of it actually buried. because then you have like sediment and water retained in there that actually help to hold it down. So we're going to do this so that the next major rain they get, it's not going to get washed away. And they've literally had that happen where it rained and the culvert pipes were down there, and you know, so down the stream, and so that they had to pay this company a significant amount of money to do this. And they called them back out and said, hey, you know, we just need you to come out here and fix these few things. And you know, the guys were just like, there's nothing wrong with it. And so it's a huge divot right here, you know, like a pothole. It's not graded evenly, so you're rocking and shaking trying to come out of here. And then it's just, you can see where the middle's washed out because they didn't grade it properly. There's a huge drop off right there, so when their mail person comes to deliver the mail, they're hitting a boom. It's a mess. And that's why it pays to hire somebody who knows what they're doing. So I'm gonna try to get some video today and get some good video of doing the culvert pipe. So first thing I gotta do is scrape everything off the top and just kind of go from there. So y'all stay tuned.
Just finished on the riprap wall. There was a lot of fabric here that they had put down previously, but they just didn't ever send the riprap, so they had us do it. We got the riprap all filled in, coming all the way down to here, where it kind of stops and there's like a step down so they can continue to get into their yard and without having to climb over a bunch of loose riprap, because that's a fast way to fall over. So on to grading the driveway.
Well, we got the culvert pipe out, and that's where that one is. Now I got to get a trash pump. Made the little dam there. That's holding the water back from coming back in here like we wanted it. So that's a good thing. Now what I got to do is I got to cut back this side here so it'll line up it'll come this way and line up more with that creek over there, and we'll put the bell in down that way this time. And the bell got damaged. It was messed up anyway, but the bell got damaged pulling that out. I mean, that's to be expected, I guess, because I mean it's a plastic pipe, and you're trying your best to kind of gingerly take it out, but sometimes it's easier said than done. So what we'll actually do is I'll pump all this water out, and then we'll cut this back on this side, and so I'll just set all that back there, and then we'll gradually start pulling material in and packing it in underneath the hunch, and then so I got to go get the pump. The pipe, that water came from inside the pipe, so that pipe was full of water. Ideally, I was trying to get it to dump over, but all that gunk right there was all in there too. So that's stuff that actually helps hold the pipe in to keep it from floating away. But we'll cut this bank back, and we may have to lose this little crepe myrtle tree. I'll try my best to work around it, but it's kind of a pain. So what I've been able to do is use the swing on the boom and reach around, and then I can kind of come over here and dig. But this is all uneven, so it's really hard to kind of work around here with the uneven part. And I'm trying to set, like that was clay kind of mud type thing, and I can use that to build up the bank over here again. And this clay here was over on this side, and that's all the stuff that was actually packed in around. So it looks like it's decent material to pack in. So if I get rid of that water, we're going to be able to pack it in real good. We got the jumping jack over there, so we'll pack that in real good. And if I pump it out and it feels like it's pretty solid, when I put the bucket on it, but if it's a little loose, we'll have to put some rock in there before we backfill it. All right, so let's go get the pump.
Right now we got the pipe out. We're kind of digging it so it has more of an angle to get where it needs to go. And then what we're doing is removing some of this. There's a lot of muck on the bottom, and we're filling it in with more good dirt. And hopefully we've got enough material to fill it back in, otherwise we'll have to go get some. Anyway, how's it going right now?
Well, I'm not getting much video of the job. We're trying to beat the rain, but just maneuvered this into place. Let's turn the throttle down while we're sitting here. Just maneuvered this into place, and as you can see, we got some geogrid. The soil underneath was like really soft. We came out here this morning, had I'll throw that picture on the video, but it was full of water again, so I had to use the bucket and just basically dip it all out. We got a little Culvert dam down there holding that water back. This whole thing was sloped going uphill the wrong way last time, so yeah, we got the geogrid in, 2 sections there, so as we backfill this and compact it in, that geogrid's going to help stabilize the soil. And so we're getting ready to kind of check the level real quick and make sure we're good to go, and then we're going to start backfilling and compacting it in and getting this thing ready to rock and roll. On the job site with the culvert pipe here, and replaced it already. This first one right here. We dug that one out and actually shifted it this way so it lined up with that other creek over there. And I'll show it to you. We got to put riprap around it now, and the homeowner's real happy with it because it's doing exactly like it's supposed to be doing. And get here and muddy up the driveway and tear it up a little bit. We're going to regrade all of this. We got to add some more base material. I just fired up the excavator, so I'm letting it warm up. But this creek right here is the culvert pipe was actually lined up, and yes, if you're wondering, that is the Spectrum cable installed in the tree. Actually, they installed that temporarily because the cable ran along the driveway, and so they're going to come back out and bury it when we're done. Because they knew it was going to get cut when we did that. But when the original installer installed this culvert pipe here, it was like the bell end was like right here where my bucket is, and it was just facing that way, and so this water had to come in the ditch and go that way and then come down. And it was, you know, the homeowner wanted that bell end, but the bell end was actually on the downhill side, and it was sloped going this way, so water was actually not flowing through all the way. And like right now, all the water from the rain that we've gotten is kind of down on this end, so I'm going to mash the rocks down that I put in there down a little bit while we're warming up. Kind of pretty that up some. But we got to add some more material on top to make sure we got enough even here. What I'm doing down there. Pipe. I wanted to have some rock that would let's back up here and see if that fixed anything. I got the rock where the water's coming out at. I'm gonna put a little bit more in there. Just making sure this is where the water's coming out at, that it's not going to get wall washed out. And kind of all along here on this little bank right there, and over there and around the culvert pipe itself, we're going to add riprap around that, and on each side, and shore it up with fabric and everything. So right now we're just going to push this base material. I'm going to push that off of this culvert pipe where we're getting ready to dig. Salvage it, and then I'll lay everything to the side over here. opted for the angle blade. I thought I wanted to have the blade a little bit closer to the machine. Having the angle blade actually puts it out further away from the machine. Base material, bring in some more ABC, but there's no need to not scrape this off and reuse as much as possible. I had the GoPro 9 on the top of the excavator to get some additional footage, but apparently the battery's dead. So and the other backup battery for the 9 is in my office. So this is the only camera angle we'll get for today, other than whatever video footage I get for the phone. That's enough for that side, I think. Take the rabbit off. Oh, there you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but down here where the bucket's at, that was their cable line. So it's right there in the top of everything. And this will be my last pass. That's right there on the top of everything. And let's start digging this out. So the customer works from home, so she was smart enough to contact Spectrum and say, hey, we're going to have our driveway worked on. Can you guys, the line's going to get cut. Can you go ahead and come out here and replace the line? All right, I think I can reach over there. Because I'm right on the edge behind me of the other end of the culvert pipe. Now this is something I don't like to do, but we're doing this to save the customer a little bit of money. I would rather have a third pipe about the same size and cut it in half and be able to extend it on each one of these culvert pipes. Best to make sure I'm careful not to grab the culvert pipe. This is going to be a doozy to compact. None of all this is wet clay. That's not going to compact well. other thing I would have opted for on this is a little bit lightweight on the backside. I really should have opted for the counterweight on this. Got my head in the camera, I'm having to look around the boom. But this is only a 24-inch bucket, and if you get a good bucket full there, it's definitely a little on the lightweight end on the back side. Yeah, I'm getting into the up a little bit. I'm doing my best to not get into the pipe, you know, because I'm just going to flip it around and reuse it. The bell's at the wrong end and it's not sloped correctly, so to be fun to compact. But Yanmars are notorious for being pretty lightweight on the back end. Be looking at my big head the entire video. But like right there, you know, I'm just taking a big bucket full, and you know, it digs great over the blade, and you know, if you're over the back end, but when you go out to the side, it gets a little squirrely and it wants to come up on you, just because the back end weight is really insufficient on this, the standard weight. So yeah, if I had it to do over, I would certainly opt for the additional counterweight on the back and the angle blade. So if you're looking at getting one, hey, those are must-haves. There's our old cable line. Yeah, this is going to be fun to compact. take some small bites, a little at a time. I'll start digging over the blade here in a minute. It'll be a little bit faster, but gotta dig deep enough to pull this dude out and swing it around and make sure we got the right So this is what I'm talking about when we're talking about getting the material up under the hunch. So that, like, he's kicking the dirt up under there, and he's pushing it up under there and packing it in with his foot and getting it in there. And so you'll have material all the way underneath it, the way it's supposed to be. And you can see he's got his hand on the geogrid right here. And so the geogrid comes up the other side. You can see it. We're going to zoom in on it. You can see the geogrid over there. And that goes all the way down the side, across the bottom, and up the other side. So what that does is that gives us a lot more stability. I can push down on this thing as hard as I want to, and it doesn't budge. Now before it was we could walk on it, but it was a little mushy, and that's why we're putting the geogrid before we put the pipe back in. We put the geogrid in because it gives us that stability that we want, and it won't allow this to sink any like it was before. Before it would, heavy truck would drive over it, it would kind of mush down, and it was causing ruts up on top of the driveway. So we're going to add a lot more material, make it a nice gradual climb over the top of these things. Just go up and over. Not going to have speed bumps here, and just have a nice smooth transition. And Walker's already, let's bring this in. Kind of hard to film and operate at the same time. Walker's already graded with the tractor up there. I tore it up a little bit with the tracks on this when I pulled the culvert pipe back up that way. So we're getting ready to add a little bit more material on each side. He's going to fill it in under the hunch, and then we're going to get that ram compactor and start packing that in real good.
Use a little bit more on the end.
On the end down here. Well, there we have it. We are done for the day, and it's Wednesday, December 22nd, I believe. So we took this pipe out, flipped it around, a bell end up here, and the small end downstream, and we got a slope on it. So both that one now and this one have a slope. I didn't get a chance to put some riprap in there, but it didn't look like we got a chance of rain. And I'm actually going to probably build this up a little bit with some base to kind of give them a little bit more room to maneuver. We're as wide as the driveway, but it's just it's a sharp drop that I don't want to. So we graded that in. We need to add a load of base about right here in the middle, so that this is a smooth transition up, and we got plenty of material. I want to make sure we got at least 25 inches of material, probably closer to 30 inches of material on top here, and then have a smooth transition from here all the way to the other side. And then we'll need a load of base right in there is a little low. And then I'll probably bring in a third load of base and tailgate it from about right there on out. And then grade it all in and compact it. And then what we'll do is come in and we'll just tailgate 57 stone for the entire length of the driveway. But there you have it. Moved my little Culvert dam and kind of graded that out, and the water's backing up a little bit because there's mud inside of here that didn't get cleaned out when we dumped it. But we may get in there with a shovel and shovel it out. And so what we'll do is we'll come in on next Tuesday and do riprap all around here, and do some fabric here and riprap all around that, and then do the same on the other side and make sure that's got fabric and riprap to protect the banks, to keep those from getting washed out from the creeks. And I might actually take out those two little small trees right there and make kind of cut that bank right there, because it makes a little turn like that and it's an S shape, and that's how it was before. But if I did that, it would make this line up better and have less chance of erosion. But we'll have riprap all on this side too, and finish grading it out. But that's where I had our pile there. I kind of tracked that in and slicked that off a little bit and smeared some mud around. That's about the best as we can grade that mud for right now. So we got a little bit more cleanup to do when we come out here again on Tuesday. But they got company coming in tomorrow, so we did not want to be out here in the way working while they were having company. So, and then once we're done, I guess Spectrum will come and bury their cable 2 inches deep like they always do, and so the next guy can cut it. But yeah, when we're done, they're not going to have to worry about this ever again. So, and right there you can see my little log, bridge I made, because when we had the culvert pipes out, they had to walk across that and then come around because they had no way to get across. So that's it for today, and we'll get this video uploaded, and y'all have a Merry Christmas, and look forward to an exciting 2022 coming up. And we don't want to live 2020 again. That was terrible. But we got a 2022 coming up, and got a lot of cool stuff in store. So y'all take care, have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see y'all at the beginning of next year.